It's a new year, new me. What are some of the other things you hear when people are talking about the New Year's, Chach?
Well, coming up to the New Year's, you have people, hoping to lose some of that holiday weight that they put on, myself included.
Yes, of course.
And I mean, just growth, right?
Yeah.
I think as we get older, we feel like we need to be growing. We need to be, changing or becoming better. The younger generation, I'm not sure if they have not that they don't have ambitions, but they still fall under the umbrella of they're in school or they're in college.
Yeah.
So, a lot of it has to do with how old you are.
Sure.
What's coming.
Do you normally make New Year's resolutions?
I don't actually.
Okay. Why or why not? Why?
I feel like, live every day to my fullest. I try to grow every day, learn something new every day. And I just have never had, I've never had that mentality of new year, new me kind of thing,
Yeah.
I'm sure looking back the years of my life, I'm sure a few times I started doing the whole gym thing in January, and then I just never followed through, as you can see. But yeah, dude, I don't know why. I've never been, and I don't feel like it's something it's not vain or anything.
Yeah.
But I've never been one to I don't know, do that new year, new me thing.
Yeah.
Except for this year.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So you're setting a New Year's resolution.
I am.
What is it?
So I just joined a community called Los Empresarios.
Okay.
And it has to do with my business.
Got it.
I've ran my business for the past 6 years. Thank God we've gotten to a level where, I've not made it, but I'm at the point where I'm happy. You know what I mean?
Of course.
All my bills are paid, all my mechanics are paid.
Amazing.
We have good customers. I
good
can
relationships.
say, I can say we're doing good, right? But then my New Year's resolution was all right, well, this business is benefiting me only. My mechanics are obviously, I'm helping, put food on their table and everything, but the business for the most part is just benefiting me only.
Okay.
It's a blessing for me. And I thought to myself, you know what? One of the reasons why I went into business is because I wanted freedom, and I wanted my generous heart to be able to be a blessing to everybody else.
Amazing.
And so I'm taking it to the next level this year. This year I joined this community. They're gonna help me. They're gonna consult with me how to grow my business even bigger. It's gonna let me network with a bunch of different Latin entrepreneurs. And I'll help them grow their businesses through my resource, which is, repairing their equipment and stuff. And a lot of these company owners are contractors.
Yeah.
So they have, equipment that we can repair.
Yeah.
So yeah, this year I was like, you know what, dude? I've been skating on an easy life. Everything's paid for, whatever. But it hasn't benefited anybody except for me, maybe the people right around me.
Yeah, I love the spirit of that, Chach. And I'll tell you what, that is rare. Most of the time when people are thinking about New Year's resolutions, it's all about them. And you kind of got a little bit ahead of me, because that's going to be some of the things that we're going to be talking about in this episode that I want to flesh out, right? We tend, and my industry, their planning is a huge part of it, right? So if you were to ask me, being in real estate, if we're already business planning for the next year by August. Wow. Right? It's very, we always say that we work in 90-day intervals. Whatever we're doing now, we'll reap the benefits of or not in 90 days, right? So in my industry, planning is huge, getting really detailed on KPIs and things like that. It's very common in a lot of different sales endeavors, right? So let me ask you this. If you had to describe this past year in one word, what would it be?
Oh, man. Dang, man. Well, dude, first of all, I have a new baby, a 7-month-old baby.
Amazing.
And once I'm a girl dad. I have 2 girls. This past year has been has been tough, bro. Like
Yeah.
she was a preemie. We were in the hospital for, a couple weeks and my baby stayed in the hospital for like the length of a whole month.
Yeah.
And, like, I feel like everybody goes through suffering and everything, and now it's not, the whole day is, is bad or whatever. Every day I ask my daughter, Evie, how was school today? And she'll be like, it was bad, Dad. So-and-so didn't want to share with me. And I'm like, Evie, don't let one little incident ruin your whole day,
Yeah,
I was like, what, did you have fun today? Yeah. Okay, well, you had fun today, And so then it's funny because then her mom will ask her, Evie, how was your day today? And she'll go, I had fun today, Mom. So she flips the script on me,
Yeah.
So, this year has been a blessing, bro. We just passed Thanksgiving and I have a heart of gratitude where I'll be thankful for the little things.
Yeah.
My baby's, she's nice and fat.
Yes.
She's healthy now.
Amen.
And, this past year, like I said, my business has grown to a point where I'm like, all right, I'm ready for the next level now,
Yeah.
So, dude, this year is just like, this year's been a blessing, bro.
Yeah.
It has been. With a new baby, no matter what, it's a blessing,
Yeah. Yeah.
And that, honestly, that should be probably my main priority, dude.
Yeah.
What about you? How's this year been for you?
This year, in particular, it was marked by a lot of loss. When I think about it, those are some of the things that shaped my year most intensely. At my church, there was a tragedy in which this young man, 21 years old, he died very unexpectedly. And so that was something that really shook our congregation and really shook me personally too. And then another thing that really, it started in January and came to its culmination just before the holidays, was my cousin having been diagnosed with cancer, battling that for the entire year and ultimately passing away. That has definitely, in one aspect, I'm thankful for what it did to my family, because it brought us together in this beautiful way that is miraculous.
Yeah.
Would have never happened in this way otherwise, and I'm thankful to God for that.
Wow.
We've gotten to know each other in a deeper way, and it realigned our priorities, right? But obviously, going through the holiday season, now making these memories without her, it resurfaces all that loss, right?
Yeah.
And so another thing that has shaped my year has actually been this podcast.
Yeah.
Believe it or not,
same.
This podcast and getting a chance to share with you guys what God is doing in our lives and what He's done in our lives has helped me get more clarity on what it is I actually believe in and what God has anointed me for. All right. So I'm just thankful that God has entrusted us with something like this, because we feel the weight of the responsibility.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Definitely.
And we want to honor it. And in doing so, it has really, developing each topic every week, getting a chance to see people's feedback, workshopping them. It's made me really dig deep personally. On what my strengths are and what I believe in and what I stand for.
Yeah.
Right? Because if I'm out here speaking to people, I want to make sure I'm speaking the truth.
Yeah.
Right? And I want to be confident in that truth that I'm speaking. So this year has been tremendously impactful in many ways. And I feel like God has worked in my life a lot and I've grown a lot because of it. Now, going into this new year, what's one thing you're hoping won't follow you into 2026?
Oh man, when I look back on all the time wasted of like, let's say, all the negativity that comes with wasted time.
Yeah.
For example, I've had a major problem with my phone.
Okay.
I have 2 phones. Imagine that. And so, like, dude, I look back in the year and all the time that I've wasted just scrolling through my phone, doom scrolling,
Doom scrolling.
And I take it back to like it being a petition, Like, I want to be a better man. I want to be a better husband, you know, and I'd want my young teens that watch this show, you know, I would want them to be better versions of themselves next year.
Right.
And some of that starts with the simple things of like, where is our time being wasted? You know what I mean? So if I can just hit that new year with discipline, bro, of like not wasting my life away. You know what I mean? Like, I'm older now, dude. In October, I had a birthday. And, you know, looking back, dude, like, there's so much time wasted when you're doom scrolling, you know?
Yeah.
Spending time with the wrong people.
Yes.
You know, so when you get older, let me tell you, when you get older, you start seeing time more as a commodity as opposed to as an annoyance, you know? Like, you know, some of the young people, oh, I can't wait till I'm, you know, 18 or 21
right. They're in a rush to grow up.
Yeah, they're in a rush to grow up, you know? Oh, I can't wait till I buy my first house. I can't wait till I do this, you know? It's like, dude, trust me, man, like, live it up, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Use every hour that you have to the fullest. So if I can leave behind the time that has been that I waste, you know, doing all that this past year, no matter how I spin it, the next year is going to be better. Period.
Yes,
Period. You know.
Amen.
What about you?
For me, it's one of the things God has really been pruning out of me this year is my desire to seek approval from others. That is something that I want dead to me, right? I want that part of me to be completely dead.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm hoping that in this new year, I can more align myself with God's purpose for my life. So that's actually what we want to talk about in this next segment. So stay tuned, guys. We'll see you in a second.
Real life, real faith, real fun. This is the spot where it all gets done.
Now that we got a chance to see what other people are planning, right? One of the stories in the Bible that came to mind for me personally was a story of Martha and Mary. Are you familiar with the story?
Yeah.
Okay, so some people might be asking, like, what does this story have to do with it? So I'll give you guys a quick summary of the story, right? So Martha and Mary were sisters, and Jesus came to their home and was teaching and talking to the multitudes, to the people there, right? Now, Martha, being a good host, wanted to attend to the people, was busy running around, making sure everybody was fed, making sure everybody was okay. We would say this is good, right?
Yeah.
If you went to someone's house and they were being a good host, you'd say this is good.
Yeah.
Correct? Now, Martha was so wrapped up in what she was doing that she then told Jesus, hey, you see that my sister's here and that I'm busy doing all this and helping and attending everybody. Therefore, tell her to get up and help me.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And so the reason that I thought that this story was relevant was because so many times we get wrapped up in our plans, and they could be good plans, well-intentioned plans, right? She had a desire to serve people in that moment. This was good, right? Yeah. But the problem is that we get so wrapped up in what we think is good and our idea of good that we start telling God what to do.
Ooh, man.
Speak to me, Lord.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
She told Jesus, hey, command her to come and help me. How many times do we make plans and we say, God, bless my plan, right? Now, the reason that I thought that this was so relevant is because I'm guilty of this. Right? I see it a lot in my industry, and I'm sure this is across cultures where we make plans for our lives about our finances, about, we make plans around our fitness goals, plans around our family. All these plans might be good and well-intentioned, but they don't start by asking the right fundamental question. We don't start by asking God, what is your plan for me?
Yeah.
Right? Instead, we make a plan, draw it out, and then we fit God in the gaps.
Eesh.
Right?
Yeah.
I don't know if that's something you can relate to.
No, yeah. I mean, I think one thing that when I lost my job in 2022, I still had I lacked faith, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah.
You know, you have this dependency on your own competence,
Yes,
right? And you're
yes.
dependent on your own money, you're dependent on your own, job and all these different things. And so I lost my job at the time. I had just bought a house, so I just let go of a bunch of money for a down payment.
Yes.
And so all this stability that I had, completely lost it. And this was in December, coming on a new year, right? And so I was.
And you had a $100,000 tab that didn't get paid.
Yeah. I had just lost like $100,000. Anyway, so then I was like, oh well, I had these plans, like in February, March, this money was supposed to hit because I have customers that pay me every 30 to 45 days, and since I was making this much, I had this salary, and this is how I was gonna pay for the new house, and this and that. Like all these things that I had sorted out myself.
Yes.
And, it was young people, like when you think that you have a plan for yourself and you think you're going to be 25 years old and you're going to buy your own house, whatever, only to find out what the interest rates are right now. And then all of a sudden your whole life's over, like everything falls apart for you. Dude, the thing is, like, if you're walking with God and you allow him to guide your life, you allow him to, do his will in your life.
Yes.
The blessings will come like organically.
Right.
And so there I was, man, worrying, stressing out, not putting any faith in God, thinking that I needed to figure it out myself. How was I going to do this?
Yes.
And man, dude, let me tell you, bro, like one way or another, my bills got paid. One way or another, my business survived. I was able to hold on to both of the houses, and I surrendered all that nasty knot in my throat of like, I don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow. Went away, dude. That stress of I don't know if I'm gonna have enough work completely went away. It was like, all right, Lord, if the birds don't worry about what they're gonna eat, I'm not gonna worry about what you have stored for me,
Yes, yeah.
And so letting go of that anxiety, that stress, dude, that was just a huge weight off my shoulders.
Yes.
Not to say that being optimistic and ambitious and planned is not a good thing.
Right.
But like you said, the first thing that has to happen is you hand over God all of that stress.
Right.
Because your decision making cannot happen while you are under stress and while you're desperate. Your decision making will fall apart. You will make dumb choices if your North Star and your surrender isn't to God.
Yes.
And that's what I had to learn the hard way, bro.
Matthew 6:33, seek first the kingdom, and all these things will be added unto you.
It'll just fall apart. It'll fall into place. Fall into place.
Another verse that comes to mind is Proverbs 16:9. The heart of man plans his way, but the Lord establishes his steps.
Wow.
Right? And I think another thing that people tend to focus on when thinking about New Year's resolutions is finances.
Yeah, definitely.
This is a big part of our culture, obviously, and as men, of course, we have a responsibility to provide for our families. I find, I was talking to somebody who's in my industry, and they were telling me like, hey, yeah, every morning I get up and I do this affirmation, and it's a biblical affirmation about how God is like my abundant provider, and I'm expecting big, beautiful blessings coming his way through his grace. And I had to pause just for a second, because I also considered, okay, what was the life like of Jesus's apostles? What was their end? What was the ultimate end?
Well,
the majority of their lives, with the exception of one, were killed in terrible ways.
Yeah.
Their lives were not necessarily marked by abundance or material blessings or anything like that. And we could say that these are the people that walked as close to God as you could.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And their version of success had nothing to do with material success, with the success that the world tries to define for us.
Yeah.
And so that's something that God has really been speaking to me like loud and clear in this season, mostly because, and I feel like that's a message specifically for me. Maybe that's something you guys can resonate with, because I have always been someone who sought the approval of others, who cared a lot about what my image looked like. I cared a lot about being right and looking right in front of others. I was, even though people would have said that I was somebody who carried myself with humility, it was a false humility. It was a false humility that really behind it all, I cared a lot about what people thought.
Yeah.
And I cared to look a certain way, right? And so, you know, maybe that's something that you guys can relate to. Maybe God is trying to tell you guys in this season that his version of success is not going to be what the world looks like.
No.
Right? Now, it doesn't mean to be complacent. That's not, you know, that's what people have told me when I've shared some of this with them. Like, we're like, you know, that's where our worldly and fleshly concerns come into play.
Yeah.
Right? Like, what do you mean? Like,
Well, you gotta be ambitious.
you gotta be ambitious. You gotta think big. And it's like, of course, it's not about not thinking big. It's about having our priorities straight.
Yeah.
Right? It's about asking God, before I start making these elaborate plans for this next new year, what are the purposes and plans you have for me?
Yeah.
Right? And if that plan means to step away from what I'm doing now, if that plan means stepping away from the industry that I'm in, if that plan means getting out of a toxic relationship,
Yeah.
right? We need to have our ears open and our hearts open to receiving that.
No, definitely, dude. I have a young man in my life that, you know, he came up on an opportunity to get a different job.
Yes.
Where he was working at, and you know,
This is one of your mechanics.
yeah, and he, you know, he was gonna get paid maybe, I don't know, maybe like $5 more an hour than what he was making with me, you know. And I told him, I'm like, look, man, you know, I've been at this crossroad before with you, right? I took a $20 an hour pay cut when I moved from a prevailing wage job from up north down south, okay? I had to humble myself, took a $20 an hour pay cut. I was making like $42 an hour as a mechanic up north. And then I came down here to work for another company for $22 an hour. And, you know, it was just like I was at a crossroad, you know? And I felt like I can go get a job, you know, anywhere, dude.
Yeah.
Anywhere for $5 more an hour. But I didn't see the potential, you know? And I didn't see like past that dollar bill sign that you know.
Yes, okay.
And so, you know, I had to tell him straight up, man, look, dude, I was at this crossroad. Look at the future, man. Can you please open your eyes? Look at the future. If you go to this brainless job, make $5 more an hour, but you're not gonna learn anything. You're not gonna get anything from this job other than the dollar bill.
Yeah.
I'm like, can you see what 5 years from now is gonna look like? And it took, you know, it didn't take very much convincing, but it took him a little bit to be like, yeah, that's true. You know, my buddy that works there right now, like, he's making that, but man, like, he calls me for like technical questions and I cannot believe what he doesn't understand.
Yeah.
He's an adult, you know, and nothing like one industry is less than the other, whatever. But to this youth, man, I tell him, try to see just either the next year. Like, can you see the next year? Don't get so focused and wrapped up on, you know, the dollar bills, the priority, that you have like no ambition or there's no reason to what you're doing.
Yes.
You know, like another team that I know, working at In-N-Out Burger, has no ambition to leave because In-N-Out Burger pays so well.
Yeah.
Nothing against In-N-Out Burger, okay? If you're working at In-N-Out Burger, you know what I like, my number 2 animal style. But what I'm saying is, I tell them, like, you know, your guys' priority, you're not seeing past next year.
Yeah.
Like, do you not see that? You're gonna learn how to flip a burger, and that's fine. That should be a pastime. That should be a job you get, you know, during your high school, like during college years. you know, they're like, you have to see past that dollar bill, and their priority is like, no, I'm making money right now.
Yes.
You know, I'm getting paid. I'm gonna work. I'm gonna work overtime. I'm gonna work through the holidays. My boss asked me to work on Black Friday. My boss, you know, they asked me to work on Thanksgiving. I'm gonna work Thanksgiving. They're paying me double time.
Yeah.
Dude, you know, life is going by pretty fast, man.
Yes.
That is not what's important in life, I promise you.
Yeah.
Ultimately, he ended up making the right decision, dude, and you know, he sees past it. He sees past it.
Well, look, that's something we're going to continue to explore in this next segment about how things go wrong when we don't have our priorities in mind. Stay tuned.
Real life, real faith, real fun. This is the spot where it all gets done. No.
It's a new year, new goals, and the opportunity for a fresh start. Now, we are going to be getting together at Lake Avenue Church with Radio Inspiración, and we wanted to invite you to a special event on January 10th, starting at 9 in the morning, called A New Beginning. Now, this is going to be an opportunity to learn and share with other people who, like you, want to have a fresh start. And more importantly, they want to align their goals with what God has in store for them. Now, Chacho and I are going to be there. We're really excited. We're going to be having different activities, games, prizes for you guys to win. And we're going to be talking about what God has in store for us in 2026 and our relationships and all the goals that you guys have planned for yourselves. Now, there's going to be some cash prizes for you guys too, so you guys don't want to miss this. We're really excited to interact with you guys. We'll see you there. So I wanted to table this part of the conversation in the following way, okay? In Genesis, God creates us in his image, right? And he gives Adam a purpose, a mission, even before giving him Eve, right? And so I love dissecting this part of the Bible in this way when it comes to thinking about what God's purpose is for our lives, right? God formed us and he gave us a purpose. We were created in his image and gave us a purpose. Now, in context of what we've been talking about, we tend to make plans, right? And they might be well-intentioned, whatever. We plan out our KPIs, all that stuff, you know, and then we fit God in the gaps. And so what happens when we do that is instead we create a God in our image.
Oh, wow.
Right?
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, the God that we're worshiping, the God that we're asking for is not the God of the Bible. It's a God that we constructed out of our own volition, a God that affirms that the things we want are correct, even though we've asked for no discernment.
Yeah.
A God that simply wants prosperity for us, but doesn't actually teach us anything through the suffering.
Yeah.
Right? So that is one of the dangers of cherry picking attributes of God that fit our goals.
Yeah.
Right? Of God. And it's not that these are wrong, right? Of asking God to bless us, to provide for us, to expand our dreams, to open doors. It's not that these things are wrong. It's that we have to remember what the starting point is.
Yeah.
Right? I can recall in my life so many times, even in my marriage, right? When I first got married, our plans for our life were totally not in alignment with what God wanted for us. Yeah, and it's really tragic because I ended up getting divorced, right? And when people ask me, you know, what was it that went wrong? Fundamentally, God was not at the center of our lives. He was not the one leading our footsteps. He was not the one behind our motivations, right? And so when you're starting from ground zero, trying to establish your own moral framework through which to live, it's like a house of cards. It's gonna fall down at the first gust of wind.
Oh yeah,
right?
Definitely.
Right? Any thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, you know, another conversation I had with another young man that I know is, you know, he's dating a girl, and I told him, I'm like, all right, well, you know, what's the plan here, you know? And he's telling me, well, you know, I'm trying to figure out if you know, we're gonna move in together and this and that and blah blah. And I'm like, okay, but like, are you gonna pop the ring or something or what, you know? And he's like, no, yeah, I mean, that'll come, but you know, I just gotta see if it's gonna work out. And I think back to, you know, another teen that I know. I know a lot of teens, man. A lot of teens ask for advice, and I appreciate it. And one of the reasons why they continue asking me for advice is because, you know, there's confidentiality there. You know?
Of course.
But there's so much to learn from them. I wish they would open up and share their stories, because their testimonies could help out a lot of different people.
Of course.
You know, so this girl moved in with her boyfriend. Boyfriend figured out that, you know, there was really nothing else to fight for, because I got the whole cake now, you know? And so this girl didn't think it through. She didn't hold God as her number one priority. And she was, you know, ultimately just, like, let's say, unappreciated.
Yeah.
You know, she wasn't of value, right? And I go back to the same thing. First of all, God was not at the center of their decision making.
Yes.
And number two, you know, like, honoring God wasn't at the center of their decision making either.
Right.
Because, you know, like, I'm sure it's every young man's dream to live with their girlfriend or whatever. You know, no rules apply. Mommy or daddy can't tell you to turn the lights off and whatever. But at the end of the day, man, like, you know, God gives us these, you know, this structure of what marriage is, this commitment of what marriage is to better ourselves. You know, the Bible talks about iron sharpens iron.
Yeah.
And so, you know, this new year, like, man, your plans have to be thought out a little more with that lens of, you know, am I walking with God?
Yes.
You know, to this next chapter of my life.
Right. You know, a verse that comes to mind for me is Psalm 37. Psalm 37:4, and it says, "Delight in the ways of the Lord, and He will give you the desires of your heart." Now, this is a verse that a lot of people, like I said before, they cherry pick it, and they treat God like a genie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, delight in the ways of the Lord, to give them the desires of my heart. Sounds good, God, yes. You know, let me go to church and delight in your worship and your presence, and maybe I'll get something from it.
Gimme.
Gimme. Yes. But what they miss is that there's this whole preamble to that verse about not being envious of those who do evil, and to not pay attention to those who commit injustice, right? To dwell first in God's presence, and to allow Him to shape your desires, right? So there's this whole context that we're missing to what God is trying to teach us and form in us. Yeah. And, you know, we have these attributes that we like to consider about God, like the provider, the one who opens doors, the blesser. These are all good and true attributes of God. But God is also the refiner.
Yeah.
He's also the corrector, right? He's also the God who says no. Sometimes He says no, and He closes those doors for a reason.
Yeah.
And He is a God who reorders our desires. Kind of going back to the Martha story, right? Martha's problem wasn't service, right? It was a self-defined expectation, right? She wanted God to align Himself with her agenda instead of the opposite. Right? And when we do this, we're not worshiping God, we're worshiping a projection of ourselves.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, no, absolutely. What did Jesus say when Martha asked Him?
Well, I'm going to paraphrase this because I don't remember the exact scripture, but he urged Martha to reconsider that Mary, the one who was sitting in front of Him and receiving the word, that she actually had her priorities straight.
Wow.
Right? And so it was a reckoning. And that's a humbling experience for God to come into our lives, especially when we come in confidently and boldly. And we say, God, look at the good things that I'm doing. Please bless them.
Oh my God.
Right? And then for God to say, hey, you're missing the point here.
Yeah.
You got it all wrong.
Yeah.
This story comes to mind here too about Abraham Lincoln. And Abraham Lincoln, we know that he was a president during the Civil War.
Yeah.
Right? And there was a general who told Abraham Lincoln, he said, Mr. President, let us pray that God is on our side during this war. And Abe Lincoln, in all his wisdom, he said, no, let us pray that we are on God's side during this war.
Oh, wow.
Amazing paradigm shift.
Wow, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Right? And if we can apply that to our lives and our day-to-day, when we can stop defending our desires and instead surrendering them, that's when we can have true freedom.
Yeah,
That's
man.
when we can have true peace and a prosperity of spirit.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Because many people might look at my life and my circumstance right now, and there's nothing flashy or extravagant about it. Many people could assume, based on the world standards, that, oh, he must be suffering.
Yeah.
He must be very discontent. He must be very unhappy and with his current circumstance. The opposite is a truth, where I feel like God has removed so many things from my life so that I could further depend on him and realign myself with the purpose he has for my life.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, and so as I reflect on this whole year, that is really that is the season that I've been in a pruning season where God is just saying, let me take these people out of your life. Let me take these relationships out of your life. Let me take these ungodly desires from your life and see what's left. Right? What's left now is, and what were you really holding on to? What was really driving you before?
Yeah.
Right? It's really humbling for God to convict you and say, hey, you're not really seeking my approval. You're seeking your friends' approvals. Are you seeking the approval of people that you've conjured up in your mind that don't even exist?
Yeah, yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And for God to reckon you with that and to show you very clearly that, hey, you're missing the point. You're not on this earth to accumulate riches. You are but an ambassador, right?
Yeah.
You're a Christ ambassador during your time on this earth.
Yeah.
And my desire and purpose for you is to point people towards God,
Yeah.
towards our Savior.
That was just in our pastor's sermon this Sunday was, you know, we're not Christ, man.
Right.
We are ambassadors
Yes.
of Christ, you know?
Yes.
And you know, this new year, man, if you can humble yourself, you know, if these young teens can just humble themselves, you know, look at the broader spectrum, prioritize themselves. Dude, this next year, opportunities are gonna present themselves, you know?
Yes.
People see through that, man. When they see someone genuinely wanting to, you know, to be better, someone that's genuinely humble, like, dude, the doors will open for you.
Amen.
Through God's grace, not because God wants you to be prosperous, but because you humbled yourself, because you prioritize, you know. Only then will God's grace like open up all those doors and opportunities for you for this next year, you know?
Yes.
And that's where I'm like, all right, well, I joined that group, that community, and I'm like, well, we'll see, you know, some other doors are closing, some other customers are closing for us. And it's like, all right, if that's the case, so be it.
Yes.
I'm ready for whatever else you have in store for us, God, you know?
Yes.
So
absolutely.
we're excited for next year, man.
Yes, absolutely. You know, there's a lot of freedom that comes when we learn how to surrender our desires and our plans, right? Something that comes to mind here is Isaiah 64:8. We are the clay and you are the potter, right? And another thing to consider, you know, when God entrusts you with new things in this coming year, recognize that God thinks so highly of you that he's entrusting you with this task, with this mission, right? And so let us, you know, whatever God is revealing to you in this next season of your life, let's take it with all the seriousness and the weight that it needs to, right? Understanding that God gives us these things so that to test our character.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
To help us grow, to help us depend on him more fully. So, you know, that ends today's episode, but we really pray that you guys think big and think eternally. Recognize that God's plan for you is ultimately to be reunited with him.
Yeah.
That is the ultimate plan.
Yeah.
Everything else is just character building in the meantime. Everything else is just to further serve that ministry, right? So let's not lose sight of what's important, guys. We are wishing you a blessed, prosperous 2026, and most importantly, that God be in the center of all the things that you do. God bless you guys, and we'll see you in the new year.
Real life, real faith, real fun. This is the spot where it all done.